Obviously, we saw a lot of volatility over the weekend, Bitcoin spiking now. Talk to us specifically about what you see driving these moves based on what's happening in Ukraine and Russia.
Well, ironically, I think Bitcoin has rallied on this false narrative that with sanctions, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a different avenue for Russians to move money around. That's absolutely false and it's incorrect. People like to hold on to this old narrative that, Bitcoin is a black box and it's censorship resistance. But people forget and crypto is transparent. So it's not a black box. It's actually like an open box, glass box where everyone can look inside, see all the transactions, and then be able to decipher, if there are abnormal movements around. So I think there's been speculation that caused Bitcoin to go up recently, but reality is it's not a good way to do fraud.
So then are you saying Bitcoin shouldn't be rallying to this extent?
To the extent that it's rallying, the good reason why it's rallying is because crypto has been able, with the speed and efficiency, be able to raise over $20 million for Ukrainian families that need it. It does highlight the technology in a different sense as well. It's speedy, it's scalable, it's also very fast, and it could be done for a lot of good causes.
That said, you've got crypto exchanges under pressure from the public to cut off Russian clients. Jesse Powell, CEO of Kraken, said they can't do that unless there's a legal requirement to do so. So why shouldn't we imagine that Russian billionaires, for example, could use cryptocurrency to circumvent sanctions on Russia?
So I think Jesse has a good point here. That'll be equivalent if I link it up to your previous thing on Starlink with Elon Musk. It could be like, okay, you're sending bad messages over the internet, so let's cut off internet for everyone coming out of the Ukraine and the Russian zone. It's impossible to cut off a whole country and know who's a good and who's not a good actor. So from Kraken's perspective or from other exchanges' perspective, it would not be right to just cut people off like that, especially when there's good coming out of it with the 20 million raised for charitable causes in Ukraine.
John, there's kind of two issues to think about here when we're thinking about what's happening across the world on crypto. One is this idea, which I think you were hitting on earlier, about wealthy Russian individuals who are looking to evade sanctions. And then another issue entirely, which is folks who live in Ukraine or people who live in Russia, the ordinary person who wants to move their money into crypto because they're worried about being able to be working with their bank or being able to transact in rubles. How much of a reality is that? And do you see people who are in this scenario starting to move more to crypto because they need to?
Yeah, a lot of the activity, I suspect, recently in the last couple of days has been very retail driven. There have been third-party analytic firms that have done analysis on this, and crypto to ruble, that exchange, about 30, I think about 30 billion or 30, about 30 billion has been moved in the last couple of days. That is most likely, and the sizes of that's been moved around have most likely been from retail. It's definitely not the size of a Russian oligarch or a sovereign doing it. So if you look at the data, it suggests that it is retail people doing the flight to safety because the Russian ruble is down 40%. And historically, the adoption of cryptocurrencies in emerging markets where there is a currency that is not doing well has, until 2020, there was more adoption in Latin America and emerging markets and Middle Eastern emerging markets because of the worry of inflation and a devaluing currency. So I think in this case, it's the same thing. Individuals worrying about their local currency devalue.
There's been so much talk about SWIFT and banning Russia from SWIFT and certain Russian entities from SWIFT. How is the crypto community viewing this? And also, I wonder, John, is there a chance for crypto companies to start joining on to the SWIFT network instead?
So I think on the first point, most people in the crypto community sympathize with the unfortunate citizens of the Ukraine. So in order to cut off the way to exchange payment for the oil and gas of Russia I would be surprised if any crypto people view that that sanction is too harsh. That's the first thing. A second thing is crypto is a very decentralized concept and abstract. So it's hard for any one firm or any protocol to just regulate like that. The beauty of it, it is decentralized. It's transparent, but it's decentralized so that anyone can get access to it.
John, at this point, we haven't seen any sanctions impacting the movement of cryptocurrency. But given all of this increased attention, is that something you're expecting? Are you expecting any additional regulation or sanctions that could impact the movement of digital assets?
If there were, you would really be hurting individuals in Ukraine and individuals in Russia. You're not going to be hurting the sovereign state. You're not going to be hurting, the treasury of Russia, which I think has about $600 billion worth of dollars, as well as close to that amount in gold. I would worry about gold more than I would worry about crypto, because you really would be cutting the individuals off.